Your Excellency, your presence here today is a proof of your commitment to the core values of the CPA. Mr. President, let me, on behalf of all of us gathered here today, tell you about some of the things that has taken place. Mr. President, we have been very well taken care of. Mr. President, the logistical arrangements which was put in place to give this event the grandeur it deserves has been exceptional. Mr. President, your country is beautiful. Your people are hospitable. Mr. President, Speaker Kadaga has been a wonderful host under your guidance. Your Excellency, my colleagues, and the accompanying delegations have asked me to tell you thank you. And that we, the CPA delegates, are saying we came, we saw, and we are going to be honorary ambassadors of Uganda when we leave here. We thank you once more for agreeing to host this 64th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference in Kampala. With your permission, Your Excellency, permit me say, I entered the room, she did not close the door behind her. She left the door wide open. Many of us have come in, we have entered, and there is still more space for women. Her strength and willingness to do so much come undoubtedly from your encouragement and goodwill of your government to encourage women and young girls to be at the forefront of decision-making in your country. We all know there cannot be any meaningful development without the involvement of women. Speaker Kadaga, I wish to thank you for being an inspiration to the younger generation of aspiring female politicians, and also thank you and your team for being there for us since we arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to be here and do request that you all join me to congratulate the government and Parliament of Uganda for the excellent organization. Your Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, time off your very busy schedule to be personally present here today alongside eminent personalities accompanying you to officiate in the official opening ceremony of the 64th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference taking place in Kampala, Uganda. Distinguished guests, in a special way, I would like to appreciate our President, who is also the Deputy Patron of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference, His Excellency Mr. Museveni. He has been a reliable partner to the Uganda Parliament because we have been able to host the CPA Africa region here in Uganda, the Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers in Uganda, the Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians also came to Uganda, the 4th CPA Africa Youth Conference last year, but we are happy that we also hosted the Head of State Summit in 2007. We want to thank the CPA Uganda branch and the Secretariat in London for the logistical and advisory support in the months leading up to this event. I want to report that the Uganda branch members and the Secretariat have worked tirelessly to ensure that everything is in order, and I want to thank them publicly for their efforts. I want to congratulate the Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians on marking 30 years of great work, of raising voices of concern or to positions of authority. I want to thank you for fostering gender mainstreaming within the membership and in our legislatures. This is important because the last time CPC convened here, CWP was not in existence. And I would like to inform the delegates that as part of our history, we have made available pullouts of the 1967 conference. I believe delegates might be interested to know what your representatives then said during the 13th CPC conference. Fellow delegates, the theme of this year is adaptation, engagement, and evolution of parliaments in a rapidly changing Commonwealth. A lot is changing in our nations, from the demographic characteristics to the diversities of race, belief, and people's needs. There's a growing focus on greater scrutiny of parliamentarians, a demand for accountability and transparency. At the same time, the public trust in parliaments is flagging in most countries. Yet, the people expect more from their representatives. It's not only the Commonwealth that is changing rapidly. One just has to watch the news to see the rest of the world experiencing severe tremors. Globalization, international borders increasingly seeming like mere demarcations. The challenges which we face are enormous. We are faced by many threats which do not know the color of our skin, our creeds, our level of poverty, our wealth, or political affiliations. Some of the major issues we are forced to contend with are climate change, individual and group terrorism, hunger and malnutrition, old and new disease epidemics, local and regional conflicts, rising frequency and cost of natural and man-made disasters. These threaten the present and future well-being of our citizens. We should also not forget the ever-growing number of refugees, displaced persons, stateless persons in our continents. As parliamentarians, we are the bridge between the government and the people. The people rely on us to speak for them, to plan for them a future that is better than the present. Therefore, we are awakened as representatives to wake up, to handle that role, to address the challenges that we face. We have workshop roundtables, TD talk, and mentoring sessions will give us opportunity to reflect on how we tackle these problems. How do we maximize our core functions of representation, legislation, oversight, and budget appropriation? Our mandate places us at the center of finding solutions that work and translating promises, plans, strategies, and laws into action. One of our assignments as parliaments is achievement of the UN Agenda 2030. We're expected to promote, to plan for, and monitor the effective implementation of the SDGs. Most of the discussions during this conference will touch on the SDGs. I know that most Commonwealth parliaments have updated their processes and missions to match this agenda, and to be exciting to learn from one another's experience. We also have discussed the issue of rapid unplanned urbanization, the terrorism, the efficacy of parliament, interventions on climate change, science and technology, and innovation that enable parliament to work smarter choices in facilitating our work. We also need to address the issue of people with disabilities, their place in politics and in society, as well as sexual harassment in the legislatures. We shall discuss the updated CPA recommended benchmarks for democratic legislatures, and this will help us strengthen our current commitments to the SDGs. Following the good example we saw in Bangladesh in 2017, we shall also have the youth roundtable here. We seek to include young people in decision-making, mentor future leaders of the Commonwealth. They will discuss strategies to deal with unemployment, in addition to sharpening their debating skills and building networks with one another. Through all these deliberations, I urge us to share our key lessons, pick up the best practices to assist one another. Let us remember that as one of the oldest established organizations in the Commonwealth, the CPA will continue to be an invaluable player in the world's efforts to create a better today and better tomorrow for us all. Honourable members, a lot of work has gone in the last few years in Uganda preparing for this 64th CPC. I take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. President, for the overall security and safety. I thank the members of the armed forces under the command of the Chief of Defense Forces. I thank the police officers under the command of the Inspector General of Police. I thank the Director General of Internal and External Security, the Capital Parliament, and the staff. And I commend further the tremendous work that the members of Parliament, through all the committees that have brought us to where we are today. I invite you to enjoy your stay in Uganda. Again, I call on you to make time to see other parts of the country, but also to invite you to our market here at the Convention Center. There are many things that you can get. You don't need to go to the city. You can start here at the market. Thank you and welcome again.